Download the Pod TV app to catch your favorite shows like Smoke A Lot Radio, The Connected Experience, On the Line, The Gangsta Chronicles, and Doggy Diamonds No Filter, uncut and raw, unscripted. Remember, it's the Pod TV app, you heard?
Tune in to Gangsta Chronicles.
Gangsta Chronicles, we gon' tell you how it goes.
If I lie, my nose will grow like Pinocchio. We gon' tell you the truth and nothing but the truth.
Gangsta Chronicles, this is not your average show.
You're now tuned into the real MC8, Big James, and Big Steel.
This is strictly from the streets.
Hello.
We represent the J's.
What y'all represented intelligence, man, at a time that it was needed, man, because y'all was a strong representation for the South. And at one time, it could be debatable that the South had the best lyricists coming from down that way.
Yeah, and you got to think about it, man. Like, we kept hitting them folk since '94. We kept hitting them folk every year. If it wasn't us, it was Outcast. We hit them folk for 10 years straight. They could not, it wasn't nothing they could do. You know what I mean? And I'm talking about with the intel where our first tour was the Roots and the Fugees. If you was to put us on a scale, they been gone. The Roots been on TV. Man, I've been out here in the mud since '94, man. They ain't never like me. Cause I represented. See, it's just like this. Everything that everybody look at these other people for right now and say, ooh, they so dope. They just that and the other. It's like, we were saying that shit 20 years ago. What? Because folks can say they got some money now to attach it to, but the message was still the same. So when you attach the money to it, then you can listen. But then again, hey man, even the ones they give the money to, they don't run nothing. They so far away from reality, man. They ain't been to the corner store by themselves for 20 years. So they know what the average person out here going through. They don't. You know what I mean? So for me personally, I feel like God is giving Goodie Mob the perfect career because he kept us relevant for 20 years and said, hey man, you might not get yours right now, but you'll get yours soon. And man, to reinvigorate this whole thing during the pandemic, to finally the world, hey man, we didn't make no party song that came. Now the world finally catching up to what we meant with our first song. And for it to come in a place where we ourselves had to live it. It's like shit, man, God real.
You know, man, God is very real all day. And if you don't believe that, you go find out one day for sure. 100%, you go for sure find out, because you go meet it for sure and you will be judged.
And just think about a person like me that winded up in that cell therapy in that pandemic and said, wow, our song came alive. That song came alive 20 years later.
Yeah, y'all definitely predicted some stuff, man.
Yeah, like if it came alive 20 years later, that means everything else that I think real might be real.
Oh man, I'm gonna tell you, man, I can get deep with you right now. Give this a whole bunch of stuff they starting to discover. They just don't slid in there that it's alien life, but ain't nobody paying attention. You know why? Because, and this gonna sound hypocritical, they too busy watching shit what other people got going on. And ain't nobody paying attention. I'm making a point to watch the actual news and see what's going on around the world, because they pretty much don't say it that it's alien life. And they seeing these spaceships, they seeing stuff, and you know what they say in the Bible about that. That means, you know, it's about to go down in a second.
That means that George Clinton ain't crazy.
Oh no, not at all. Not at all, dog.
That means that what George told you he said he seen. He seen. So he was the only black man during that time that was walking up out of the spaceship because he said he seen one.
Mm-hmm.
And now the government tell you 25 years later that they real.
Mm-hmm.
But then when my father went to the wars and over in the Gulf during the 90s, he came back with pictures and showed me, son, it's spaceships on the walls over there. Now, how would them people know to write that on the wall that they seen?
That's
If
real.
them drawings are 30, if them drawings are thousands of years old, why would them folk write something on the wall they ain't see?
That's some crazy shit, man.
That tell you they been here. That tell you they live here. Everything, they say it's over 20-some species of them. Now, we go back to some of the movies when we in the 70s, it was a movie that Roddy Piper was in. Where he had to put on them glasses to see them people.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man, don't start talking about the lizard people and all that other stuff, the reptilian race and all that, man. We get deep on this motherfucker. You know, I had to talk about, man, y'all was on some other shit. I think the shit y'all was on, but people, you know what, though, Gipp, I'm going to tell you, more people starting to believe in stuff. They starting to see, man, because the thing is, when you look at stuff just like the president, every single president don't been in office is related somehow, dog. Yeah. That's right there. Whether white, black, don't exclude Obama's ass. His ass was related to them too.
That's right, man. That's right, folks. That's why he could deal with it so well. That's why he never broke code. Mm-hmm. That's why he never got that. They never could make him act like a black. They never could make him act like what they call a nigga, because he already been trained for the job.
Oh, yeah, for sure. From the time he came up from the Chicago ranks as a charismatic city councilman and rose up to president, it was all a plan, dog. It was going to happen, you know?
All a plan. Now, how you come up out of Chicago, the president come up out of Chicago, and it's the worst city in the United States when it comes to gun violence. That's on purpose.
Mm-hmm. And I'm going to tell you why. Those white folks went out and voted for him in droves.
Yeah, because he was safe and he was backed by a certain group of white folks. You know what I mean? So with that being said, he was safe and he was a person that they deemed safe. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that's why I say, even with music, that's why, bro, I ain't never wrote a diss rap. You know, I ain't never wrote a diss rap to another rapper.
You know what, man? It's funny that you say that. I always thought that was like, and I understand about the whole art of hip hop, man, but my thing is this. If somebody would say something about me on the record, I'm gonna holler at them in person if we got a real issue like that. I always thought that was like giving niggas some advertisement.
Cause in the 90s, King, you know where we come from. You know, it would get to it. It was action on time. It was so many times being on tour with UGK, man, and Texas boy, them big boys get the rumbling, man. You got to get out the way, man. So, you know, back then wasn't no cameras, wasn't nothing. You know, folk got to it. You know what I mean? You talk that shit, we gonna straighten that shit. You know what I mean? Respect.
Man, I'm gonna tell you like this, and I ain't never put nobody out there, but I don't seen a couple of vicious ass whoopers, and some of these niggas talk like the toughest cats in the world. And I'm like, boy, you better stop lying to them folks before I tell the truth about what happened in LA at that time, boy, at that club.
I be tripping about a lot of that, King, when I really be fine, and I be like, man, a lot of the folks be talking about they gangsters. There's so many stores where they ain't got rag tagged and put over folk head slammed. I just be like, man, hey, man, let me tell you, they ain't touched Goodie Mob since we been in the game, man. It ain't been no motherfucking extortion. It ain't been nothing. Anybody who was supposed to be the head motherfucker during that time, Gipp went and sat with him and looked them straight in the eye like, man, it ain't no hoe over here, man. Ain't no hoe. You know what I mean? So I look at a lot of things now like these kids they killing over nothing.
Oh man, they killing over nothing, man. And I'm gonna tell you like this: the biggest thing, and this is what I always told my kids. I said, listen, the bully's mouth bleeds just like yours do.
That's right, man.
Never let no man take your heart. Never let no man treat you like you squat to pee because he bleeds just like you do. You hit a nigga in the mouth, whether you win, lose, or draw, they not gonna mess with you no more.
And I'm gonna tell you,
to them extortionists, dog.
And what's so funny about OG? That's why a lot of time Gipp can't really say nothing, cause see, a lot of the things that going on in the industry right now, you know, One thing I learned about the devil served too. The devil, he gives gifts too. He gives power too.
A lot of it, a whole lot of it. You seeing his works manifest daily in front of your eyes.
Yeah, and I know, just look at everybody who famous, King. Everybody who got all the money. So much death around. That's just true.
It's the facts, dog, because I'm gonna tell you something. The gifts that Satan give, dog, they got a price tag on them.
Hey, man.
They got a price tag on them. The gifts God give, man, they eternal. They not gonna never go nowhere. There ain't gonna be no trickery. It ain't gonna be on everything. It's like, I used to be a big fan of the Twilight Zone, right?
Me too.
And there was a cat on there that was a gambler. He went into this one spot, man. He was hitting him. He was shanking him, winning everything. Dude found out he was dead. And he thought he was in heaven. He was like, man, I'm tired of winning. Like, everything he bet he would win. And the dude said, well, man, you are in the other place. And was laughing at him. You know what I mean? So the devil will give you what you think you want, but he gonna give it to you, man, the worst way possible.
So think about this. As much money these folks say they got, what if you got so much money, why you won't go nowhere and sit down?
That's some real stuff, man.
If you got so much money and so much power, why you won't go nowhere and sit down? What makes a motherfucker would just stay in your face when it's plenty of billionaires and millionaires out here? You'll never meet them and never know them. So why y'all so addicted to the fame? Y'all must got to stay in the light because you're scared of the dog.
Exactly. And they can't tell you, dog, that it's because of the love of the music, right? It ain't that, because I don't know plenty of Scarface put out albums, dog, and don't do no promo down here. You don't see him nowhere. You just know he got a record out.
Yeah.
You might see him here and there on this and that, man, but, you know, Scarface fan bases just go buy his music. You know, they ain't got to see no bunch of music videos by him. But the thing is, man, these guys are addicted to the light, man. I mean, they're addicted to all this right here, man. And then, Gipp, I'm going to tell you like this, and you know this too, a lot of these cats ain't got the bread that niggas say they think they do.
Yeah, well, you know what it is? They ain't got the bread they say they do, and they really owned by people.
That's what I'm saying. They partnerships. A lot of these deals, and see, I don't know everybody's business, but I know about certain things. A lot of these people that we be hearing this stuff, oh, they tech giants, they doing this and that. No, it's a management team of people behind them using him as the face. This nigga get the salary, don't get it twisted. He getting paid, but he's the puppet man. He's told to say this and say that and come back and do this and do that.
It's a lot of that, King. Just imagine this. How can somebody say they the biggest drug dealer in the world that don't nobody that everybody get ran up on except him?
That's crazy, ain't it?
Hey, man.
Speak on the Gipp. Speak on the Big. Speak on it, man. You know, this is the Digital Chronicles.
You got to look where it come from. Everything come from New York, man. The first police, all that hip hop, that shit come from New York. So you know the first rappers that were working with them police, to sweep the streets of the other rappers so they wouldn't get famous and you come up. Hey, man.
Oh man, I'm gonna tell you this. Everybody was so shocked at the Tekashi 6ix9ine shit.
It was. Why you was shocked?
No, I'm saying everybody was so shocked, right? I said, man, y'all should have saw this coming a mile away. I believe this nigga, because if you notice, his ass don't slid off again and kind of disappear. I think he been working with them people, dog.
Well, he always was, King. He always was. Because, see, they pulled him in the room and said they going to pay him to go through it. You ever seen somebody go through jail and act like they got them in there, goddamn going to college? He went in there, motherfucker, acting like he was at the resort. He got it broad. He buying cars. What motherfucker can buy a car from the federal pen?
And he had a plan. And I'm gonna tell you this. And I told somebody this, and they got mad. Shout out to my partner, Glasses Malone. I said, man, this nigga's gonna come out and still sell records and still do what he did because don't nobody give a fuck about no codes, no shit. And that nigga came out, and that's the first thing the little kids said. Oh, we don't care. He told because he had to. He should have told. And I said, oh my God, it's over with for niggas like us.
Yeah, but at the same time, too, this is what you gotta look at too. He was blew up on the internet. He was blew up on YouTube. Who controlled YouTube?
Oh man. We already know what time it is, though.
I'm cut in. I'm cut in. Okay, so I go to jail. I got whole stories on TMZ for a whole year, a person sitting in jail. How do a motherfucker get news articles while you sitting in the federal pen, but they doing good news articles for you on TMZ? Keep press up, keep your name in the press. Come on, man. Can't nobody like me do that kind of stuff.
No, not at all. They won't allow it.
So at the end of the day, you already know he control. He on the team. They just had to make him look like ain't nobody with him.
He's on. Let me ask you this.
If you think about it, Tekashi, it ain't been one record company exec nowhere around him to connect him with somebody. That's the reason why you know he's somebody big.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this. You know what they did? You know, the person that owns Universal Music, his son is his, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not talking about like he's at another level. You know, Universal Music, I think they control something like 85% of the world's music or some shit like that.
Yeah.
So he's not dealing with no little sub label. He's dealing with the top motherfuckers at the top of that motherfucker.
And at the time, you gotta look at it like this. They look at him. First of all, they looked at him like a commodity. They looked at him like, wow, the little cat from Brooklyn crunked this energy up. But they put him right in jail. With him, they sat back and said, he the right color. He the right color where you could take this man and destroy every street code with him. Because at the end of the day, you can always say he ain't built like that. He was just playing a role. As long as he wasn't black, you didn't have that kind of goddamn code built in him. As far as as long as he was something else, then he could always say, hey man, them folk did something to me and I did something to them and these folks took care of me. That's what it is. You know what I mean? So that's where we going with it at this time. That's why you gotta understand, man, what are you in this music game for?
Man,
you in this music game to be an artist, or you in this music game to be a mascot? Because let's say it like this: most of these motherfuckers right now, they mascots. We doing compilation albums. We buying up the Billboard, and we can't produce none, or write none, or sing, or rap none. But we supposed to be a pop star.
Preach. You know what it is, bro, and I truly believe this. A lot of people think it's a conspiracy. James 8, I'm sorry, man. I ain't trying to go off course. But, man, do you know how many, what's it called, man? Not an induction, but it's a lot of dudes out here really selling their souls for this shit, Gipp.
Oh, yeah. And they cool with
it. Giving up manhood and everything else, dog. It's a lot of deep stories about some of y'all heroes. You know, I can't never speak on this stuff, but
hey, man, that's why you know, King. That's why you know certain people are picked for the job. But I want you to understand something too. Their music don't mean nothing when it's over.
I mean, nothing is all. It's like microwave food.
It don't never mean nothing when it's over. And at the end of the day, if you don't make music that's gonna be deeper than the skin, you just a moment anyway.
Real shit.
You just a moment. You know? So you like when Rico said, "Hey man, we gonna record y'all first album in Curtis Mayfield house," I knew that once that man started walking and start riding up in that wheelchair and looking off in that studio, we knew we had somebody to impress. We had to impress him.
So y'all actually recorded in Curtis Mayfield's crib?
In his house.
You know what, man, can I tell you something? Curtis Mayfield is my most favorite artist of all time. Like over everybody, over every rapper, over every R&B dude, Curtis Mayfield is my guy.
Right, man. He took me in his room and he showed me the original recordings of Superfly. He had them all on his wall. And then he took me into his closet. He said, "Gipp, get that sweatsuit right there. I want you to have that. That's the sweatsuit I wore on Soul Food cover."
Oh man. For real?
That's Curtis Mayfield's sweatsuit he gave to me.
That's crazy, man. So you don't been around just, you know what, King, you blessed, man. You've been around some of, not just hip hop royalty, man, but music royalty, period. Curtis Mayfield, man, just to the way you came in the game, man. I don't want to like divert nothing, man, but I want to take it somewhere because I really feel like the music y'all made was so original. Didn't nobody know how to, like, to me, y'all had a sound that was almost like from outer space or some shit.
Yeah, it was great because it made it where Curtis told us, say, you great when the music industry can't duplicate you.
Mm-hmm. That's some real shit, man.
He said, think about my era, Gipp. There wasn't no copies. You had to be great.
Mm-hmm. You had to be great. It was different, man. There was a certain time in hip hop because I know people always talk about they go near, and I hate when they just specify to go near to one region, but it was a time in the 90s, man, where everything that was coming out was different. It had some substance to it, dog, and it was great shit. It was just great.
They killed that because they couldn't duplicate it. They couldn't duplicate it, so they killed it. You know what I mean? They still controlled it from up top. At the same time, that's why when they run them lists off talking about this man, that man, look, man, them four had one album, man. Get out of here, man. Them four had one album, man. Them four you talking about? That man now probably had a consecutive album, but Buddy that he ain't lived long enough, and Buddy that he had one album. So, but hey, man, when you put our albums up against everybody y'all say great, man, we smoked all y'all top 10, man. Come on, man. Outcast was platinum and pop records way before Jay got to the S to the Izzo. Bro, we talking about Miss Jackson. We talking about Bonzo Baghdad. We talking about pop records now. You had one. Rest of them were rap records. Them boys kept dropping pop record after pop record after pop record.
Yeah, they was being killed. They wasn't just in the rap charts. They was on the music charts. They was beating country and western albums. They was beating Britney Spears' ass. Right,
bro. So I when they be talking about all that shit, I be like, man, we don't even rap like that. So to say that they the best, okay, up there, but down here you not even on the list. Down here is space. Down here is space, baby. You know what I mean? Then we can go. Then you can talk about something else. You know what I mean? But in the South, bro, it's space. That's my era. Anything came out during that time, I look at as my peer.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't listen to Dope Boy rap. If you did Dope Boy rap, I didn't buy your Dope Boy rap because I had my own bomb and I had my own Cadillac when I came in the game with 6 coats sitting on bowls, man. Y'all boy didn't even have cars, huh? We were doing that at 16, man. I was doing that at 16, man, but way before we got in the rap game. Y'all didn't get no cars till you got in the rap game. So we come from a different place anyway, man. Like,
yeah, for sure. But some of them dope boy rappers, bro, is fantasies. They, that's a fantasy of theirs.
Man, hey, how we came up, our dope boy were overalls and pickup trucks, man. You ain't even see the money. You ain't even see nothing clean, bro, but a big old knot, man.
Yeah, big old knot in their pocket, a big ass knot in their pocket, that green, that white.
They ain't even talk to nobody. They come through Big Mama house, slap everybody out with a dub and keep going, man.
And keep on pushing. Let me ask you this, man, because it was a lot of hater shit. Now I ain't gonna be politically correct or nothing. There was a lot of hater shit that used to go on back in the day, right?
It going on now. You see it? You going on now. You do verses and you don't got nothing from the side. Man, come on, man.
Oh man, I'm gonna tell you something that's deep. It was a versus set up, dog, with it was a versus set up with Crazy Bone and DJ Paul was gonna do one. Represent 3-6 Mafia against Bone Thugs Harmony. Would have been crazy, right? Guess what? Paul and Crazy was gonna do it on their own and then start picking up some momentum. Next thing you know, Versus call them, oh, y'all should wait. We do it on Versus. You know what never happened?
Yeah, that's how they do it. That's how they do it.
They throw it out. Can you imagine how hard? Because see, there's certain groups from the Midwest and South that they just want to write off the history. They just want to write them off. You got Goodie Mob, you got Bone Thugs, you got 3-6 Mafia.
Yeah.
And you got, you know what I'm saying? You got great groups, dog. They want to try to push.
Ball and Jay.
Mhm.
Ball and Jay. You trying to write Luke Skywalker out the picture?
Exactly.
I mean,
Ball, MJG.
it's like when you go back to Atlanta during that time, bro, we had Usher, TLC, Escape. Come on, bro. Y'all didn't even have no R&B groups. Jodeci from North Carolina.
Tell them about it.
They from the South. They were not from New York. Jodeci from down here. Then when you look at anywhere else, man, it was the West Coast. It was Texas.
Yeah, it was other places. So tell me with this is the perfect setup. It's 1995. You sitting in the Source Awards, right?
Yeah.
You can tell there's tension when you watch it on TV, but they're not really showing what the crowd is doing. They just making the artist look like they starting some shit kind of, right? So Dre 3000 looked like he was upset, and he went up to the South, got something to say. What was going on in the audience that day, dog?
It was so, man, I tell people, man, what people got to realize is that year was the year, I think, that everybody got to see each other in the flesh. I think people have seen the West Coast on TV. They seen Snoop. They seen everybody on TV, but they ain't smelt their cologne. You know what I mean? They seen goddamn Big Mike. They seen all that shit on BET, but they ain't see it till they got up there to that night. And I think we got into that night, that shit felt like being in the prison yard. It felt like going out on the prison yard, and it's like, hey man, everybody in their car. Everybody in their car. And it was like that. It was so much tension you could cut it with a knife, man. I'm talking about, because they started the show with the Death Row. When they started the show with Death Row, it just put it in the air. It put it in the air.
Because I want you to walk me through like we going back, like we don't time travel and we walking through there. What was the thing like? Was niggas talking shit? Was it because Dre was upset?
First of all, the city of New York was there. Very, very brand new to us. You got to look at what was going on. You got Outcast there. You got Big Mike there representing. You also had Thrill from 6ix9ine Boys, Tootsie Roll. And at that time was a pop record.
A big ass record.
Big ass record. Bro, we watched Death Row. They kind of were like, but that shit was so hard. They was like, oh my God, them niggas crazy. It was just awesome how they came up. But it was like the Woo, they felt just like we did at that time. Well, nobody respected them. They thought Staten Island was the country, man. Well, nobody respecting them in there. Well, nobody didn't. Mobb Deep with Too Love. That's when Quick and 8, they were going through their thing. What was so hard about it? Quick and 8 was sitting behind us. That was what was so hard. And when Quick came on and did his part, he rapped right at 8. And we sitting in front of 8. 8 behind us. Quick rapping his part at 8. So already we was like, yo, man, like the West at each other, New York and the West at each other. And they were looking at the South like, man, we don't even hear y'all niggas. Like, y'all niggas ain't even here. You know what I mean? It's like, so it was kind of like, you know, after they did, they said, lyricists of the year. And Biggie Smalls beat Big Mike. I was kind of like, oh no, you know, all the Southern niggas sitting around like, oh no, folks. Oh no, pimp. I think that's bullshit. But at the same time, them boys were hot. Like Biggie was hot. Like that was the first time, you know, he jumped up there and did his thing. And you know, our thing was like, where was Craig Mack at? You know what I mean? Like it was so much going on that night. I remember us walking out that building and seeing Corrupt out there rapping against all them folk on that corner. He said he did that. He did that for the West that night. He went out there and said, "Hey man, anybody out here want some? Bring it on, cuz."
Yeah, he was out there serving niggas.
Hey man, ain't Ruck went to serve the niggas out there, man. Like,
Did any well-known niggas, did any niggas that was on step up?
yeah, nah, man, he was whooped. Oh, bro, he took the, you know, them niggas was superstar. They was still superstar. He went and got all the gutter. He whooped your gutter. Like, if he whooped your gutter, y'all ain't ready. He went out there and took on everybody on the corner and killed them.
And shut everybody down, didn't he?
It was the most awesome thing to ever see, because to be in that room, like, after shit, it put the gang banging shit on it, man. Like, after Suge did what he did, boy, it put the gang banging on it then, boy. It was like, and then at the same time, you got Bone Thugs and Harmony. I'm just now seeing that beef up close. Okay, you know, Ruthless and goddamn, you know, the Death Row wasn't with it. You know, they were still funking with their funk during that time. So it was the West at each other. It was the West and the East at each other. And it was the South sitting there feeling like we ain't even got them getting recognized for nothing we doing. So you got to remember, once we came back home with a chip on our shoulder. Like, okay.
What y'all for damn sure did do, bro. Y'all only went on to sew that bitch up for the next, from then on up to now.
Yeah, like
if you go to New York, every nigga out of New York sound like they from the ATL.
Come on, man. I told her
it's all over the place now.
That's why I tell people all the time. I say, man, y'all can say whatever y'all want to say, but the difference that make us different than the West and the South, we raised our kids. We raised our kids, man. When we was the TIs, when they came up, we grabbed them. Ludacris, we grabbed them. Jeezy, we grabbed them. Everybody else was trying to keep them down and blocking and no, don't let that nigga in. No. Yeah, I get mad all the time when I be like, hey man, no disrespect to nobody. I'm just saying, it's sad that only motherfuckers want to talk about Dr. Dre on the West. It's sad. It's a quick. Chill. It's sad. Battle Cat. It's sad, bro. That's the reason why you gotta look at why shit don't be strong. It be strong because them folks grab one motherfucker, they pull him in the room, and they say, I want you to fuck everybody out there, and I'm gonna give you all the weight for everybody. Now 20 years later, there's one man sitting with all the weight, all the power, and everybody else got crumbs and bricks.
Finally get a chance